Today we're going to walk through the simple steps it takes to switch out an outlet, and I'm going to be changing my outlet for one that has USB Type A charging ports for my kitchen. Now these come with a couple of different faceplates. You can do screw type or you can do the screwless type. You can get them in several different versions. For Type A, you can do Type C. You can also do a combination of the two that all retain the outlets plus the charging ports, or you can switch those out for type A or Type C that eliminate the charging ports. We're going to be using a couple simple hand tools. In my case, I'm going to be using this Klein 14-in-1 screwdriver, which is great for electrical work, a good set of needle nose, and an outlet tester from Klein Tools as well. Now, in my kitchen, the backsplash, it doesn't cover the outlet very well. It was poorly done, and so these larger faceplates are going to help to eliminate that. Our first step is we want to cut off the circuit breaker. In my case, it's the GFI in the kitchen. And then you can test this by plugging something in and making sure that the power's off, or in my case, I want to be double sure, and you can use this Klein tester. This will also let you know if the outlet is wired correctly when we complete this task. So the first thing we want to do is obviously remove the old faceplate after we've killed the power. And then we're going to remove the outlet. Now, what I like about this Klein screwdriver, like I mentioned before, it has a couple of extra bits in there, including number 1 and number 2 Robertson, which you'll find common to electrical work. That's really helped to speed this project along. We'll get this outlet removed, and then we get access to the screws back in the back where all the wires are connected. We'll want to loosen all of those off and then remove each one of the wires. Our green is always going to be our ground, our white will be our neutral, and the brass is always your hot wire. It's commonly referred to as black to brass, white to white, and green to ground, or ground to green. And that will help us when we go to reinstall this one as well. So now that we've got that outlet out, it's the simple steps of just loosening off the screws on each one of the hot, the neutral, and the ground, and get them wired in correctly. Now we want to use our needle nose pliers here to kind of pinch those so that they're tight against that screw and make a good electrical connection, and then one by one we can make sure that each one of them is tightened. Another thing that you want to do is you want to put the open end of the loop of your wire in the direction that the screw will tighten. So in our case, we want that going to the right hand side of the loop, just to ensure that it doesn't splay open whenever we go to tighten it. If we had those loops reversed, then that loop would try to open up on us and we would not get a good electrical connection. Now once we've gotten those tighten back in, we can begin to put the outlet back in place. What I like to do is kind of screw the screws into place slightly first, and then I'll kind of push on the outlet to kind of seat the electrical wires in the back so that they seat well into the box. Now once we have accomplished that and we got it nice and flush where we like it, then we can start to tighten the screws. Now on these outlets, you'll notice that there is a slot left to right on each one of these outlets that allow you to kind of maneuver or adjust the outlet to get it centered up correctly. So I'm taking great care here just to ensure that I get the outlet seated exactly in the center where I want it to be. Once we've done that, now we can kick the power back on. We can test it with our tester to make sure that the outlet is working properly and that we have everything wired up correctly. Now we can install the backer for the faceplate that we're going to be using, and it's a simple step of 2 simple screws that will hold the back portion of that faceplate in. Once we've got those set, then our other cover, which is larger and is going to cover that mismatch or that poorly done backsplash, is going to actually cover that, and so we're not going to be able to see the gap in there, which is really going to help for aesthetics in my particular case. Once we've got that on, now we can just test it with anything electrical. In my case, I'm going to use my wife's Scentsy. Plug that in and we've got power, and now all we need to do is check our USB Type A outlet to make sure it's charging correctly. Once we've accomplished that, we know we're good to go, and this job is complete. These are the simple steps that it takes to switch out an electrical outlet.